Hey guys, hopefully my voice holds out. So a couple days ago I had something with some aspartame in. I was served something what was diet and should have been regular. It happens. I'm allergic to aspartame, mildly allergic. It irritates my throat really badly. Not that it swells shut, not that I struggle breathing. Just it gets dry, it gets scratchy, and then it gets phlegmy. Nothing serious. More of an annoyance, and I usually tend to not sleep very well. So don't worry, it's not COVID. I feel great other than from about here to there. That's it. So it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. What are we up to today? Well, there's a conveyor. There's a grain truck full of fertilizer. And out there somewhere is Steve. I got back from the dentist this morning. We were just getting set up to go floating. That doesn't sound good. Hopefully he just drove away or he got behind the building and it blocked the sound, but it just went quiet. Usually you can hear him booting around and it sounds like the air drill, like you got the fans going. So, I don't know, maybe I'll do some babbling here, but then maybe it just fired up again. So maybe he got out to check something. So our neighbor's got a self-propelled floater. So he's doing custom work for us. We've had him do custom work in the past. Chewing on some hulls. So we asked, I'm gonna go that way because I'm guessing Steve is gonna be popping around the corner here. I see he ripped around there already, but we might be able to see him out in the open. Good cameramanship. Oh, there he goes. Not sure if you can see him. I thought I would show, so what we're putting on is this core float. So we'll take a look at the fertilizer blend. There's some sulfur, some potash, some urea. It's got some urease inhibitor on it, which slows down how fast the nitrogen gets volatilized. So I'm just on the other side of the road. We'll take a look down and you can see all the white specks. It's gonna be hard. Oh, there's some potash over there. Now so you see all this fertilizer, like there's some bigger stuff there, bigger pearls. So what we're putting down are the mobile. So there's two things, actually there's probably about 5 things that are going on here, and I'll try and explain them all. So logistically, we're putting over half of our fertilizer down in the fall. That means that we can get more acres on a fill out of the seeder on the same size tank. Because instead of putting 300 pounds of fertilizer down, we'll put about 100. We go from being limited by fertilizer to being limited by seed, and that depends on what the tank orientation is. I wasn't really doing a ton of filming in the spring. I could show you, I will try and show a little more with the seeder next year. I didn't do any seeding this year. It was good and dry. Dad was nice and stress-free. We had some land that was floated, so life's easy. So instead of stopping to fill every 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, like a lot of times if we're doing wheat, we're getting about, if we're not floated, we're getting about 65 acres a fill, which is about 2 hours between fills. If you figure out, we were going 4.5 acres an hour with a 60-foot drill, works out to just under 25 acres an hour. So I'll touch on the math. I think I did that in another video too. But a good rule of thumb, depending on how much overlap you do, is your implement width, which is 60, times your ground speed, which is 4.5. Divide that by 10, or just shift your decimal. That gives you a good approximate number if you don't have overlap. I like to go up, if I have some land, for example, some land just over there, a lot of bluffs, a lot of curls, even this one over here of Dad's, I'll divide by 12. And that gives you a better idea. Anyways, number one is we're making logistics easier for next year. Number two is we are, with the ridiculous price of fertilizer right now, we're buying it, but we can't store it. So we're using our ground to store it. So the N, the P, the K, the S, nitrogen, phos, potassium, and sulfur. 3 of those are quite mobile, which is nitrogen is very mobile within the ground. Potash is also very mobile. Sulfur is mobile. But phos is not. Phos needs to be intercepted by a root. And even then, not all the phos. There's a long story. I should touch on phos. Maybe I'll get the agronomist to explain it too. We need to put the phosphorus down with the drill, and we try and have it in line with the seed. That's the best chance of that phosphorus kernel being intercepted by a root. Sounds like Steven. Yep. Coming in hot. Start up my grain truck. Morning, everyone. Got a beautiful sunrise off to the east. Got a sprinkle of rain about 45 minutes ago. I was down here, left the trucks in the field overnight. The Volvo is, since day one that we've had it, and I mean since my uncle had it, she's always been hard to start when she's cold. So, and you know, last night wasn't that cold, but I came out here, we were planning to get started around 7:30. It's about 7 o'clock right now, or just after. And so I came out here, I think I got here about 10 to 6. And I have a little portable gas generator. I threw it on the block heater for an hour, just fired things up. So, I think Jeff got mostly done this last night. Don't think entirely. So there's 380-ish acres out here. I'm betting he didn't do, there's like a little 4-acre parcel just on the other side of the bluff there. So we're gonna finish this, and then we're gonna move to the other side of the road. We got 273 acres there, 270-ish. And then we'll move to the next field. And between me and Dad, there's 550 there. And that's all the land we're gonna float down here. After that, I would guess we'll end up moving north. Not 100% sure what the plan is. So we've got, yeah. Woo! Ripping through there. Nice wide open. My first solo flight in the floater, in Jeff's floater, not ours. Quick look around. It's actually really nice because he's got the Viper 4, so everything else is, a lot of things are very similar. You know, I know what a lot of the buttons are. I know you can press and hold certain ones, so that's really nice. And really, it's the same cab as our sprayer. Our sprayer has the leather seats, but almost everything else is identical. I'm getting to the end here, so so this is my first time driving the floater. Luckily, a lot of the controls are the same as our sprayer. The cab is the same. The display is the same, even if it, to be honest, even if it was a Pro 6 or 700, I hate the 600. 700's not a whole lot better, but it's a lot better. I could have figured it out. But I really like the Raven. I'm probably going to lose my voice here. I'm still fighting whatever's going on in my throat. Excuse me. So a few things are definitely different operating wise. Obviously filling, because you're using a dry product. You can see it down there. One of the biggest things is, number one, you can't really wing over stuff. I like to just wing over stuff and shut off sections, or even spray over top of stuff just to keep the leaves from moving in. This thing only has two sections, left and right, and each are, I think this thing's 70 feet, so 35 each. So first of all, the wings don't lift up much, probably only 3 to 4 feet. Luckily, you're fairly high to begin with. There's no auto boom height, so it won't adjust. It's pretty much fixed. It does have the breakaway tips if you do happen to hit something. You'll see there's section 1, section 2, left and right. So the second thing that's different, but not all that different, is this is all the same as the sprayer. This is your essential master shut off. This is your auto steer engage, but it's not a hydrostatic, so you're not pushing forward and backwards to speed up or slow down. You've actually got a brake and throttle, a gas and throttle and a brake. Hardly ever use the brakes on the sprayer. That doesn't exist on the sprayer because that's over here. It's a hydrostatic in the sprayer. This has an Allison transmission. So that's a lot different. And so as far as getting your field speed, you actually have an engine rev cruise, not a true cruise where it sets your speed and it adjusts gears accordingly. Whatever gear you're in, it will just hold the engine revs there at whatever I have it tuned to, which is 1520. So that's different. Obviously no sectional shutoffs. You can do left and right, that's about it. As you can see, hopefully you can see the product coming out. But overall, it's quite an easy machine to run. A little bit wrapping your head around what's actually going on, but it's not horrible. So right now we're putting down 200 pounds. We fine-tuned it. It's like 198.8. So we're pretty close. Don't worry about that. That's just a bad sensor. Jeff has changed everything out. It runs. It's not like it's starving for fuel and it's lacking power. This thing just goes. It's a little rougher ride than a sprayer, but you're also going, you know, it's not very often I spray at 17 mile an hour. Typically I'm between 10 and 15. So I'm going a little faster. You kind of have to. You're still covering a lot of acres. I really have to fight the urge to pull back on this every time I get to a corner. That I feel like there should if I was to read the book, there's probably a way that I can yank back on this and it goes to like a slow speed, like, I don't know, 5 mile an hour, and then go to this and it would resume cruise. So Jeff didn't tell me about it. I don't know. I might dig into the book. I also forgot to mention what this is. So this is a Case IH Titan 4540. Overall, it's a pretty cool machine, if I gotta be honest.